He's looking, they will never believe this. That's why I can't say the name. He's looking down. I pick his chin up.
This might be Joey's worst lie ever. You know, it's kind of crazy that you would try to tell people that you pressed up on Jimmy Henchman. If this is the individual that you're referring to, saying that you pressed, calling them a rat, but we got paperwork on your boy Jose, yeah, Cuban Kirby. We got paperwork on him too. Stay tuned for more. And we gonna get to this content of Joe telling a blatant lie. Jadakiss is even like, wow, Jim, you really drew the line with all this capping. Listen, I need y'all to hit the like button, and I need y'all to hit the hype button, cause we about to get deep.
Sipping slow, yakking the act, thinking I'm the
Oh, champ. Run up these likes, run up these likes, run up these likes. We back again with another one, gang. Listen, it looks like Fat Joe is trying to say that he scared NYC's top boogeyman, one of the biggest boogeyman in NY history, known as Jimmy Henchman. Now, a lot of people think he's talking about Alpo, but no, this ain't Alpo, because Alpo wasn't extorting no rappers. Hey, he got locked up like during the golden era of rap. He wasn't really the one that was out here, you know, extorting rappers like that, but somebody was, and his name is Jimmy Henchman, and he's not saying a name, he's not putting a name on it, which we already know Fat Joe was a capper anyway. I mean, Fat Joe also admits to being a big liar, and we're gonna get to all that too. But first, we gotta jump into the footage where Joe is pretending that he is the biggest gangster in New York City's history. I need you to hit the like and hit the hype button. Let's jump in.
Introduced me, so I gotta go out. When they do that, somebody appears. It gives me their hand. I shake people's hand in the airport all day, everybody. I'm Fat Joe, I'm celebrity. What's up? So I said, what's up? So he says, yo, you know who I am? They already introduced me. The music's going. Lean Back is on. It was only like 2 songs. I said, nah. He said, yo, I'm such and such. When I looked at him, I said, holy shit. Now this guy's beyond the killer. He was extorting every rapper on earth. He was extorting the streets. He was doing whatever. He was a monster out here. Legend of all legends. Right. I couldn't wait to get on.
Legends of all legends. You already know Jimmy Henchman's situation with Tupac and all that. Listen, you know. If you know, you know. Listen. Yeah, he been around. Been around. This can only be Jimmy Henchman. And he, you know, Jimmy Henchman was a label owner and all that, right? Remember that. This guy's saying that he out-gangstered a top gangster that he claims is a rat. And we got Joe's paperwork. Like I said, we got Joe's paperwork. We're going to get to that. But Joe was telling the biggest, boldest face lie he done ever told in his entire life. This is nasty, gang. I hope Albie Al don't believe this nigga, man. Listen, Cuban Kirby, you've done too much. But let's continue. Continue, champ.
That stage, I ran back to this dude. I couldn't believe he was standing there. I said, now look at me, you rat mother bastard, piece of shit, sucker bitch, your mother shit on her face, nigga. You ever in your life? Cuz it just happened. I don't know what the dynamic is. Mano bumped into Troy Ave. Yeah. Troy Ave had a baby in his hand in front of 10,000 people. I hear they had problems, but Mano, you know, said, what's up? I wouldn't have done that, right?
Shut up. Mano more gangster than you. Mano is more gangster than you. Facts. You wouldn't have done that. Don't even speak on what Mano got going on. Mano is known for nonsense. Mano was on nonsense. Mano got respect not only in New York, he got respect in the West Coast too. Yeah. Mano's like that. Or was like that once upon a time. He's an older man now. He's grown. He's matured. He's lived life. He lived a rough life. But I don't like the fact that he's mentioning Mano's situation. Because what Mano's situation got to do with you? You're not Mano. And you haven't done things that Mano's done. You're not known for that. Let's just be honest here. And you telling a lie a made up, fabricated story about you pressing up on Jimmy Henchman of all people, who had beef with Fifth, by the way, is currently incarcerated for orchestrating the unaliving of Lodi Mack. May he R.I.P. That's one of 50's peoples, one of the G Unit soldiers. Jimmy Henchman been locked up since like 2015ish, 2016ish, somewhere around that timeline. He's talking about him running into Jimmy Henchman and pressing up on Jimmy. Yeah, okay, champ. Sure you did. Let's continue.
But he was running down on anybody who's the realist in New York, and they nah, but my bag, son. I would have never talked about you. Yeah. Oh, this. I'll tell you. I'll give you a clue. My man Wally World told him hood plays. The man went to the middle of the hood play. He's a rat of all rats, and told all the OGs we ever seen in Fed magazine and all of them. He was like, "Yo, who got a problem? Who won it?" Everybody was like, "Mum's the word." No, but what I'm saying to you is,
Jesus Christ!
Not only did I scream on this killer, you a part of this story. You don't even know it. Oh, but listen, no, listen. You a part of it.
How the fuck am I a part of this?
Because you was.
That nigga Kiss don't want no parts of this cap, nigga. Kiss is not even about to verify your cap. He ain't even about to make it seem like you telling the truth. We've said this before. Joe lies so bad it ain't even cap no more. It's kufi. It's no longer a cap. It's a kufi. Or it's a fitted without a brim attached to it, which would still make it a kufi. You feel me? At this point, it's no longer cap. It's fez, nigga. It's fez like the Moors wear. He's fezzing, nigga. Ain't no capping. You fezzing, gang. You kufiing. You scullying, gang. Ain't no more brim on it. The cap, you pass cap, nigga. It's wintertime. You got a scully. You're scullying, champ. You're scullying, champ. Yeah. Yeah, he out here capping, gang. Well, scullying. You gotta change the words because these types of lies is nasty, gang. We just gotta be real about the situation. How are you doing this madness? Like, come on, bro. Let's continue. Go ahead.
Complaining about the nigga in the back of my store. All of y'all kept telling me, yo, this dude's out here moving like this, that. This nigga's crazy, this. I'm just saying, you don't even know who I'm talking about.
Let me talk to the people. Whoever he's talking about, I was never complaining about anybody for years.
What I'm saying,
he's saying.
No, what I'm saying is this guy was shaking
my house
everybody down.
Yeah, I know.
Right? So he was shaking everybody down. I'm talking about from the biggest to the this. Yeah. So I go and I see Davies tell me something. But when I'm walking away, no. So I turn back around and I go right back up to this guy again. Piece of shit, right? He's looking, they will never believe this. That's why I can't say the name. He's looking down. I pick his chin up.
Yeah, sure you did. Sure you did, Joe. You picked up Jimmy Henchman's chin. And you herbed him out. Yeah, you herbed him. Sure you did, champ. We don't believe you. As a matter of fact, Joe, remember what you said used to happen to you for telling these types of lies. Remember? I'ma show y'all. Hit the like and hit the hype button if you have not. Let's take a look.
Too, when I was in junior high school around that time, I used to lie a lot. You know what I'm saying? And I used to get beat up for that. So I would tell somebody in the school, yo, I used to be with, I was with that girl, such and such. And it was a lie.
Right.
You know what I mean? So her brother heard, and they 10 deep, and it was like, let's beat up Joey Day. So even one day I remember I had to look in the mirror and tell myself, like, yo, I gotta stop lying. Like, yo, Joe, you gotta stop lying. You get beat up because you be telling these lies. Like you gotta stop.
Right.
And so I learned to stop. I stopped completely. Like, if you catch me in the lie,
it's about growth and maturity, and
apparently it never stopped. He just kept going. Bro just kept capping. Like, he kept, nigga took him out. He heard that Jimmy Henchman. Nigga, when? Why we've never heard anyone's testimony of such things ever happened? We ain't never heard it. This is cap, but since we're on the subject of capping and how you running down on the biggest rats, let's talk about you and your ratting, champ. Yeah, let's talk about that. Oh, champ. So what y'all looking at right here is obese Josephine's paperwork. Big salute to the individual that sent this to me. This is a incredibly big homie that a lot of people should know, by the way. This right here is nasty work. Alright, this right here, this documentation proves that your boy Jose obese Josephine Cuban Kirby is indeed a rat. Yeah, champ, he told on someone. Shall I read this aloud? Let's read this. I know it's small and all that, but we gotta read this madness, gang. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna do y'all a favor real quick. Watch this. So, here's the first half of the paperwork, right? Now here it says Trinity Ave, Mr. Cartagena, aka Fat Joe, stated that he also sold work on Union Ave, and that how he got his nickname Joey Crack. Mr. Cartagena stated that Marquero Stroud unalived a guy named Truth on Cambridge Road for a crew called 25 to Life. As you can see here, he is cooperating with law enforcement and telling them exactly who smoked someone named Truth from a crew called 25 to Life. Mr. Cartagena stated that one day Marquero, Pat Fat Chino, aka Arnold Rodriguez, and Shorty Jose Serrano, who were all members of the Bryant Boys, came to Forest Projects looking for a shooter. Mr. Cartagena stated that they wanted to unalive a guy named Reyes Jose Mayette, who was the leader of the Nasty Boys from Hunts Point. Mr. Cartagena stated that though he didn't know Reyes personally, he knew of him during the 80s when he was a graffiti writer and leader of the Ocean something crew. The Oceans fought with the Squad, a crew from Forest Projects. Okay, now this is the first half of the paperwork. On to the second part. This is already looking incredibly nasty. If you haven't hit the like button and the hype button, you need to do that right away ASAP. This is an exclusive. On to part 2. Now, it says Mr. Cartagena stated that it was Reyes who unalived Chupo. Mr. Cartagena stated that Pistol Pete and Charlie Rock, associates of Mr. Cartagena, know Reyes from prison and that he was a rat hunter as a New York prison gang, and that Afro, another rat hunter, gave Pete a spot in Hunts Point when he came home. Mr. Cartagena stated that both Reyes and Afro were taking contract hits. Mr. Cartagena stated that Fat Chino wanted a shooter that Reyes didn't know. Mr. Cartagena stated that Julio, aka Julio Rodriguez, Reyes' brother-in-law, paid a guy named Thussy. What's this guy's name? Because this is blurry. A guy named Huckle. I think it's Huckle, something like that. Okay, so Julio paid a guy named, I guess, Chuckle to unalive Reyes. Reyes was shot inside a building in Hunts Point. Okay, so basically, Fat Joe's Mr. Cartagena is on paperwork telling about people getting unalive, people wanting to get people unalive, who got smoked and etc. But is screaming on the Joe and Jada podcast that he pressed up on a rat that has extorted multiple people in New York City, multiple rappers, and Jimmy Henchman. He's saying that he pressed up and heard out Jimmy Henchman, out gangster Jimmy Henchman, saying that I don't know what Mano did with Troy Abbott. I wouldn't have did that. Like, he's a super gangster, but you're on this paperwork right here telling, champ. You're telling on everybody. You are here being a rat, but have the audacity to be portraying some type of gangster image on the Joe and Jada podcast, which is absolutely insane to me. But if you think that's crazy, guess what? We got one of the people that's behind cell walls, has been locked up for a long time, speaking on this exact paperwork, because he's the one that presented the paperwork. Hit the like, hit the hype button. Let's jump into the next piece of content, shall we?
I was charged with being the leader of the Nasty Boy organization in the Hunts Point section of the Bronx. I was sentenced to 14 life sentences plus 205 years.
I have to ask, how authentic is this paperwork on Fat Joe?
I mean, what did you ask me? Did I sit in prison for 30 years and forge paperwork against someone who I don't know, who doesn't know me, and whose paths never crossed? Look, demigod, what people don't know is that statement comes from a proffer. For those who don't know what a proffer is, it is when you give information to the feds. There were literally hundreds of statements made against me. Many of them I didn't see until years later. Some I still haven't seen. You might never find out about these guys unless the paperwork is released on them. So now let me ask you this question. Joe was picked up for a body, like Star said on his podcast. Then how come he never went to prison? Tell me, how am I supposed to authenticate that paperwork? Do you want me to reach out to one of the agents and ask them to verify it? I'm sitting here in prison with 14 life sentences plus 205 years. Why do I have to authenticate anything? There are people who have been living comfortable for 30 years in the streets because I live by a code. Remember that.
But how come no one else came forward with paperwork on Joe?
I can't answer that question. I mean, the older guys like myself who spent years in prison realize that the street culture is nothing more than an illusion and that no one cares. Many went home, is working, and settled down. If it wasn't for Money Mike being persistent, no one would have seen the statement I had. And it isn't because I'm protecting Joe. It's because, like I said, no one cares. I have more important things to focus on, like my freedom. But remember this, demigod, whatever is hidden in darkness always comes to light.
Ain't that the truth? Whatever's hidden in darkness comes to the light. Now that's Ray speaking. Ray's currently incarcerated, doing a crazy life sentence right now. You see Ray's on the left right here. Alright? He's in his prison clothes and all that. And below him and an old picture of Fat Joe is the same paperwork that I just read to y'all. Okay? Now that's Ray's. Alright? He's holding it down in the penitentiary. He's never gonna see the light of day. It's over with. Alright? Again, he said this paperwork comes from a prophet. That's what he said, right? This is legitimate paperwork. This ain't no whack 100. None of that. No. This is coming from an official person. Okay? Listen, it's gonna get bad for Joe. In my opinion, he needs to address this on the Joe and Jada podcast. Since he wants to address these things about him being so gangster and pressing up on people like Jimmy Henchman, stories we have never heard before, please verify this, because all this capping is nasty work. But honestly, y'all, how do y'all feel about this in the comment section? Do y'all think that Joe is gonna end up addressing this whole thing on the Joe and Jada podcast, just like he's addressing these cap stories that he's been telling? Do y'all think he's gonna do it? But do y'all think he needs to do it too? Does he need to do it? Does he have an obligation to speak on these things, since he's speaking on all of these urban legends and myths on camera? Listen, I need y'all to let me know how y'all feel about all this madness in the comment section, because this is nasty work. Joe, you on papers talking crazy is wild work, gang. I ain't gonna lie, man. Listen, do the mayor a favor. Hit the like button. Subscribe if you're brand new. Make sure you hit that hype button as well. Up these hype points helps the channel in a major way. Turn on the notification bell so you get notified when the mayor's live, when the mayor uploads. And most importantly, the last thing before I get all the way up out of here, are you ready, gang? It's the mayor. The one and only man, New York Mayor F. Mondani, and you're rocking with the town favorite Showface News. It's Big Gotham, and you already know it's the town versus everybody at all times. Hit the like button and hit that hype button, gang. I'm up out of here. Salute.